Hello and welcome to Access, the show that takes you down the PlayStation rabbit hole into an amazing video wonderland. Coming up this week, we round up the week's biggest news in our PlayStation briefing, take an exclusive look at Tinseltown's take on Uncharted 3, and check out the latest Access Live event in Bristol with guest performer Lethal Bizzle. But before all that, we're cleaning the barrel of our M4 for our Game of the Week, Battlefield 3. The idea of war going off in your living room is basically quite a scary one, but if it had to, you'd want that war to look like Battlefield 3. Swedish developer DICE is giving the slick shooter sequel the sort of concerted push you'd normally associate with giving birth or making a strategic breakthrough on the Maginot Line, or indeed both at once. It's set to be quite the year. How do we know? Because we've played the thing, of course, which means we've delicately taken out snipers from Middle Eastern rooftops, ridden in the various tanks, trucks, choppers and fighter jets, and blown everything in sight to pieces using the game's still amazing destruction system. Pulling together the single-player campaign in a series traditionally designed around multiplayer hasn't always been easy, as producer Patrick Liu explains.
DICE has always been a multiplayer studio from the beginning with Battlefield 1942. And this time around, we're making something that's different in terms of style and tone. It's a much more serious game, much more authentic, much more physical experience than we've done before. You get a much more epic experience altogether throughout the single-player campaign. So I would say that the single-player campaign is a very big part of Battlefield 3.
With this more focused and highly polished campaign, of course, Battlefield 3 is in a better position to challenge reigning champ Modern Warfare for the title of King of all guns. But the deciding factor will almost certainly be Battlefield 3's online multiplayer modes. These have been tightened up considerably since Bad Company 2, with a more merciless hear a whistle and then you're dead feel to the gunfights. And less of an emphasis on blowing everything to pieces just because you can, although there is still a bit of that, obviously. Happily, what hasn't changed is the game's emphasis on teamwork. This is what really sets it apart from Modern Warfare, the fact that the class-based combat enables well-organised bands of regulars to stand up against the twitch-aiming hardcore, which in turn makes the whole experience feel less like walking into enemy machine gun fire with your hands raised in the air. Battlefield 3 is out on the 28th of October, and doing guns on your telly has rarely been so much fun. News time now as we sift through the week's hottest stories in our PlayStation briefing. With the release of Uncharted 3 now just weeks away, we recently caught up with Naughty Dog's Richard LeMarchand alongside star Nolan North, who let us in on an office secret.
Well, that's what they say about Richard. He's genuinely into the subject matter, and he rarely wears pants.
Yeah, that's it's part of my intimidation strategy for getting things done around the office. Don't make me stand up.
If Deus Ex hasn't slaked your thirst for involuntary suicides with bits of wire sewn into their flesh, then say a big robotic hello to upcoming future shooter Syndicate. Hello, Syndicate. Like that. Scheduled for a 2012 release, Syndicate is a first-person reboot of the classic 90s strategy title, set in a future where business deals are thrashed out with assault rifles and one-upping your high street rivals can be lethal. Ubisoft's post-apocalyptic survivor map, I Am Alive, really is still alive if this new trailer is anything to go by. The elusive adventure title has been given a PSN-friendly makeover. Look at what you can do. Slide down buildings, fire arrows at furious men and comfort young children. Sold. We leave you with big news that Batman Arkham City will be gliding gently onto PS3 this Friday. It's up to Batman to battle a lineup of new villains by using gadgets, breaking arms and staring at Catwoman's leather trousers. Meow. That was your PlayStation briefing. We'll be back with more next week. Digital fun's at the ready, kids, as we guide you through the latest and bestest content on the PlayStation Store. So what do you do when Crazy Golf just isn't crazy enough? Chuck in a load of squirmy invertebrates. Obviously. The result? Worms Crazy Golf. Available on the store now and not only containing those infamous genocidal squigglers, but also sheep, parachutes and wanton animal cruelty. Plus some really funny voices. If chewing through hordes of snot-faced space orcs with whale-sized laser cannons is more your thing, then Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine will be right up your alley, with the full game now available for download. It's subtle like a rhino in tap shoes, but then subtle is for the weak. Dragon Age 2 DLC news now, as geek pin-up Felicia Day whirls her way into the fantasy epic as spunky elven lass Talis, also the star of Day's very own web series Dragon Age Redemption. Add-on pack Mark of the Assassin sees Talis team up with hero Hawk to swipe a precious artefact, and proves that even with extra pointy ears, sex sells. Also worth sucking down the PSN pipes is the new survival pack for Ace Shooter Resistance 3. Your reward for giving those nasty Chimera a piece of your mind is 4 new multiplayer skins, a lovely theme for your XMB, and most importantly the new Invasion mode, which adds a bit of tactical spice to all the online carnage. Before we go, holy video store invasion, Batman! With the release of baddie-bocking Detect 'em Up Arkham City just around the corner, the Dark Knight's movie incarnations have swooped onto PSN, along with animated classics like Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero and Mystery of the Batwoman. Tim Burton's gothic adaptations of The Stars, with Michelle Pfeiffer's slinky Catwoman stealing the show.
Yeah.
Woof! Time for something a little special now. You think you're excited about Uncharted 3? It turns out that so's the whole of Hollywood, as demonstrated by a new short film by Blood Diamond director Ed Zwick. The film features members of the Uncharted crew like Amy Hennig and Nolan North, and we have an exclusive sneak peek right here.
Heroism is about what you do when nobody's looking.
We look toward heroes to instruct us or to represent us, and even to represent our fantasies.
Somebody who beats the odds.
And there may be nothing in it for them.
The person who stays when we're tempted to go. He's the person who goes forward when we're afraid.
The caregiver is a caretaker, maybe.
We don't get to choose the hand we're dealt, and what makes you a hero is what you do with that.
The full-length version of the hero's journey will be available from this Friday on the European PlayStation blog and youtube.com/PlayStation3. For those of you who still haven't made it to an Access event in person, say a big "alright" to Motion in Bristol, where the latest show set up camp. As ever, the venue was stacked with the latest PS3 blockbusters, including Assassin's Creed Revelations and Battlefield 3.
That's like the game that I'm definitely going to buy this year. So you get the whole tanks in there, you know, instead of just man-on-man combat, you get to drive tanks and blow them up and everything like that.
It wasn't just software that was getting the crowds hyped either. Say a big future world hello to Sony's HMZ T1 personal 3D visor, which instantly made anyone who wore it look cooler than a Robocop-shaped ice cream.
The 3D itself looked superb in the visor. They showed a cityscape which really was visually stunning. You know, you can see the depth of field very well in it.
I can see a lot of gamers playing on it because it's such an immersive experience.
The headline attraction was, of course, the Uncharted 3 multiplayer tournament, and with goodies signed by Nolan North up for grabs, gamers flocked to the jungle-themed Uncharted area like moths to an exquisitely rendered high-definition flame.
The Uncharted 3 multiplayer is a lot more polished than Uncharted 2. It feels a lot quicker and smoother. The melee kills especially really sort of kick, and they've got a real whack to them. Events where you get the chance to play games early in environments that you wouldn't normally get to play them in are just brilliant. They're what has made the PlayStation brand so great.
We even got on the leaderboard ourselves for 5 whole minutes. For the big finish, the evening's entertainment was cranked up a few hundred decibels when Lethal Bizzle took to the stage with his rap star posse, sending the gaming crowds home with lyrical genius ringing in their ears. Want to get involved? Of course you do! Access events are staged all over the UK, and to find out more and how to sign up, head on over to facebook.com/PlayStationAccess. Before we go, we've got some Dark Souls wisdom to share with you. Praise be. If you're finding yourself continually getting pummeled by the nasty Taurus demon at the end of first area, then try this. Throw fireballs in his scowly face and then quickly get on that ladder to confuse the blighter. Rinse, repeat, and he'll be toast in no time. Such a foolproof strategy, we did it in just our pants. No, really, we did. For more video content and to sign up for future access events, head on over to our Facebook page and like us, or scan this handy QR code. See you next week.